Welcome. Allow one full breath to be received. Nothing needs to be summoned. Nothing needs to be adjusted. Notice what's already here. The body feeling the breath. There's nothing here to fix. Nothing you need to hold. Stay with the quiet for a moment. Let the body listen before anything needs to make sense. I'm Phi Thuy Nguyen. This podcast is an invitation to let unprocessed experience resolve, so inner pressure can soften and self-agency can return naturally. Nothing here needs to be learned or applied. You don't have to work anything out. Let the words settle where they land. Let the body receive what it recognizes. In the first episode, we talked about inner coercion, the invisible pressure that pushes us from the inside. In the second, we explored how that pressure forms, often as an intelligent response to early environments. Today, I want to bring this into the body, because self-agency isn't an idea you adopt. It's something you feel returning. Most people think agency looks like confidence, decisiveness, strong action. But those can still be driven by pressure. True self-agency is usually much quieter than that. It often begins as less urgency, a subtle softening, a moment when you realize you don't need to decide right now. A breath that drops lower in the body. A moment where nothing inside is demanding an answer. Self-agency feels like choice re-entering places that used to be automatic. You might notice you pause before responding instead of reacting. You feel an emotion without needing to fix it. You rest without explaining yourself, even internally. You say no without rehearsing a justification. You let a decision wait and nothing bad happens. In the body, agency often feels like grounded presence. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw softens. Your breathing moves naturally. There's less scanning, less bracing, less background noise. Importantly, self-agency does not mean the absence of discomfort. Sadness still arises. Longing still arises. Uncertainty still arises. The difference is this: nothing inside is trying to overpower them. When agency is present, sadness can be sad. Longing can be longing. Confusion can be confusion. And because they're not being resisted or rushed, they tend to complete. Another way agency shows up is in timing. Action begins to feel inevitable rather than forced. You don't push yourself to move. You feel movement gathering. And when you act, there's less second guessing afterward. Not because you were certain, but because you were aligned. This is what it feels like when authority returns to the body. If you're listening and wondering, do I have self-agency? Notice the quality of the question. If it feels pressured, agency may simply be resting underneath it, waiting to be allowed. Agency isn't something you earn. It's what reemerges when coercion softens. Most of us think agency is about control, about certainty, about being on top of things. But real agency feels more like permission, permission to feel, permission to wait, permission to not know yet. It feels like I'm here, I'm listening, I'm not being pushed. When that happens, life reorganizes itself quietly, not through effort, through trust. Let's pause. You don't need to do anything with this. Nothing needs to be checked or measured. Just notice the sensations present now when pressure isn't needed. If you've been doing many of the right things and still feel uncertain, that doesn't mean you're failing. It may mean your system is learning how to choose without force. You don't have to earn agency. You don't have to prove readiness. When pressure softens, clarity is already there. And what's aligned moves on its own. If something in you settled while listening, let that be enough. And if at some point you'd like a quiet place to listen with someone, not to be fixed, not to be directed, but simply to sit with what's unfinished, there's space for that through the Clarity Compass call. Only when it feels right. Your own knowing is already present.